Alright, now that we have our digital mock-up mostly complete, we're going to start inking the outline. To begin with, I'm going to do another group together of all of these elements. I'm going to name that Swoop mockup. I can delete my sketch because we've got all the details in now. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call that Linework. That's good practice to make sure you name and label all of your layers and elements correctly. It'll save you lots of time. I'm also going to make my mock-up layer a little bit lighter, just so that I'm going to put the opacity at 90%, and then I'm going to re-enable the background layer, but I'm going to make it white. I'm going to go to the paint bucket by pressing G, and I'm going to press X to swap my foreground and background colors. I'm going to fill the background with white, and I'm going to drop the opacity down again slowly because it's still too vibrant. You're just making these calls as you go, so I'm going to drop it to 70% because choosing round numbers makes remembering your settings easier. I'm going to choose the brush tool. I want it to be on 100% hardness. I want this button here checked, which is pressure sensitivity. Opacity 100, flow 100, and then I'm just going to do a quick test. Wait, I've still got white selected, so I'm going to press X. I'm just going to go Apple A, clear the layer, Apple D to deselect. I'm going to swap back to black. Cool. And I'm going to start adding the major details first, and then once I've got the main outline down, I'm going to start adding in the finer details to the drawing. Start with the skull because I like skulls. So obviously this is a wee bit big. Just going to zoom in so I can focus on the area I'm working on at any given time. Now I'm just going to start inking in and just tracing away at the mock-up that I created. Just making calls and decisions about the lines that I see as I go. And because I've got pressure sensitivity selected, I can vary the weight of my lines. And you're just going to go through and start filling out all the details. So now I'm going to delete those because I don't like it, and I'm going to delete that. Just going to drop down the size of my brush another couple. Cool, so the skull's mostly inked. Now I'm going to move on and start working on the rest of the drawing, and then once I've got down the main details there, I'll come back in and start adding the finer details and cleaning up the line work I've just made. After that we'll carry on and we will work on the mid-tone shadows and highlights and start to colour it. In some places we're going to have to make up detail and blend it into the drawing, but That's part of creating artwork. Right now, at this point, I'm just gonna make a save. I'm gonna save it again as Swoop illustration Linework V1. This is the first version that I've saved it, so I'm going to make a new file. Go ahead and click save, and then we're going to carry on with our illustration. Right now I've done the antlers. I'm going to press Apple 0 to get an overall look at it. Apple 0 will fill the screen. Command 0 will fill the screen with the document that is open. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the owl. I'm going to start with the face. For now I'm just going to fill in large macro details, and then I'm going to move on to doing the finer stuff. Now I always try and zoom out when I'm moving to a new area so that I can pick out what details are important and focus in on them first. I'm going to check what it looks like without the... Okay, making progress. I'm going to move on and try and finish off the crown now, which I might actually erase and start again. Now as you go through the drawing, don't be afraid to delete and rework areas where you don't think you've been as successful as you could have been, because it's a digital illustration, so it's totally available to be tweaked as you see fit. It's not like paper where once you lay down the colour it's down forever. Cool, so I've deleted my line work. I'm going to bring the brush tool back up by pressing B. I'm going to zoom right in for this because the lines are so smooth that I want to get them right. Remember, the hand tool can be accessed by pressing space at any time. Now I want to move the roses to the other side and then fill in the blank spaces. So I've disabled my background layer and I'm just going to roughly cut around these. Like that. I'm going to go Command C to copy the layer. I'm going to make a new layer by pressing the new layer icon. I'm going to press Apple V to paste in the copy. Then to transform it and move it across to the other side, I'm going to press Command T, and that's going to take me to the free transform tool. With the free transform tool, right click and then click flip horizontal, which is going to mirror the image on the horizontal axis. Then I'm going to drag it across. At this point I'm going to re-enable my background layer, the Swoop digital mockup. Oh wait, I have to finish scaling this, sorry. Press enter to exit free transform tool and then re-enable your Swoop mockup. Now I'm going to just align that with that layer as best I can. Cool, I think that's about right. That'll be have to do. Press B to go to the brush tool, and then instead of erasing this time, we're going to make a layer mask. So press the add layer mask icon. Make sure you have the brush tool selected at 100% opacity like before. And then we're going to layer mask out the bits of the skull and crown that shouldn't be part of the picture. So we don't need the cross because we want a little bit of asymmetry in our illustration. We've got more visual information here because there's less obscuring it, so I'm going to delete some of the parts that weren't that successful. I may even decide to take those over to the other side as well. But for now I'm just going to delete these. Cool. We have saved ourselves a lot of work here and the drawing is going to look more consistent. Since it's all by your hand, it doesn't matter. Of course, if you want to introduce more asymmetry, then you can erase it. But for the purpose of this illustration, I'm going to leave it out. It's looking pretty good so far. I'm going to keep filling it back in. I'm still on the eraser, so press B to get to the brush tool. And then okay. I want to merge these two layers together. I'm going to highlight both of them. I'm going to press Command E to merge them together into one layer. I'm going to make sure to name that Linework again, keep my files tidy. Right, now that I've got the base lines in, I'm going to start to fill in some of the detail and work it up a bit. I'm going to bolden up the lines and add fine strokes and hatchings to give it some fine detail and make it look cool. A bit grungy. Remember, we're starting to use lighter pressure when we want to start adding in the fine strokes. So we're just really dragging the pen along the Wacom surface. We're not applying any real pressure here, just keeping it nice and loose. And drop the point size down here. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with my roses on the left side, so I'm going to do the trick I did earlier again, and I'm going to duplicate them to the other side. I'm going to start by erasing. I'll save first, just in case I screw up. So I'm going to press E to get to my eraser. I'm going to raise the brush size by holding down the right bracket. I'm just going to crudely erase it first and then come back in and clean it up. It was good to have that there as reference, but the roses are the same on the both sides, so I don't want to retread all of those steps again. Okay, now I'm going to drop the point size of my brush with the left bracket and come in and just erase those extra lines that I don't want anymore. Right, I've erased all of that. Now I'm going to bring up my polygon lasso tool again and just quickly, oh, that wasn't good. Cool, I'm going to press Command C and Command V to paste it in place. Then I'm going to go Command T to bring up the free transform tool, right click, and I'm going to flip it horizontally and then drag it across and try and line it up as best I can. This part's a little bit tricky. Alright, I'm going to press enter and I'm going to add a color overlay just so that I can see what I'm doing. I'll make that bright red. Cool. And I'm going to go back to my selection tool by pressing V, and I'm just going to nudge it into place. Cool. Then I'm going to use my eraser tool to delete the lines that I don't need, and then I'm going to fill in the details again just to smooth it back into place. I'm going to use a layer mask for this, just so that I've got some options if I don't do it quite right first go. I'm going to go to my brush tool, raise the point size with the right bracket, by doing this I'm leaving out truckloads of work. Alright, now I'm going to delete my colour overlay. Just drag that to the trash. And then I'm going to return to my brush tool and just fill in any extra areas that don't look quite right. I'm going to merge them back together, highlight them both, then press Command E. Then I'm going to come in with my brush and just fill it in. I'm going to turn my mockup back on just so I can see what I'm up to. Alright, I'm calling the line work done for now. In the next lesson, we're going to take this and we're going to colorize it, possibly using 3 or 4 colors, and then we'll take the colored version and we'll, in the next lesson after that, we'll discuss how to turn that into a printable design if you want to screen print it, and look at color separations and how to prepare it for print. Okay, I'm going to save since I'm done, and I'll catch you next time.